Hello my lovelies, welcome to my channel and thank you so much for watching this video. If you find it helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel. You can also click on the notification bell if you'd like to be notified when I next upload a video. Many thanks and I hope you enjoy this video.
Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. Thank you very much for joining me as always. I just wanted to show you up front what I used for this week's nail creation. So this is this week's nails. We've got some nail sugar, we've got some waving stripes, we've got a bit of marbling, we've got a bit of a glitter cuff, and we've got some, I don't even know what you'd call that, half and half nails with glitter down the centre. We'll go with that. So everything I used today, I believe this is everything, is in front of me, except for IPA, of course, isopropyl alcohol. That's always a given. You always need your IPA or some kind of cleanser while you're doing your nails. But in terms of actual colours and products, I used Luminary in Peace. That's the standard builder gel that I used. I use that for every mani. Stardust, which is this glitter that you see through my nails. If you don't have this, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I love this glitter. It's Madam Glam, and it came in the 2019 advent calendar, which is how I first found it. It was only a mini size bottle, but I went through it within about 6 months, if that, because I loved it so much. I always use it, so I got a bigger bottle. Love it, it's brilliant. Glitter fades, just a single glitter line, solid nail, accent nail. It's fabulous for all of them. Shimmer Sexy Berry is this berry colour that I've got. I love this colour as well, and this applies really, really nicely, and it's just a really pretty berry red wine kind of colour. It's just brilliant. I love it. Cashmere Grey is the pale grey that you can see that I used. It's got a slight sort of, I guess, slight hint of bluey undertone maybe. I'm not very good with these things, but anyway, it's a pretty colour. Goes on a little bit thicker than the berry colour. These two were in the 2019 advent calendar along with a miniature version of that. This one was in last year's advent calendar, Upper East Side it's called, and this is the darker grey, the charcoal grey that I've got. And this is a great colour. This goes on really beautifully as well. That was really nice. Loved working with that. Great. And then the glitters I've got, this one obviously is that colour, then I've got the silver on this finger. These I bought off eBay 1,000,001 years ago. Honestly couldn't tell you who the seller was, but you know, go to eBay, Amazon, any of those and search for glitter and you'll probably come up with about 2,000 results. And then just my brushes as usual, so my ombre brush, which you've all seen before, my striper brush, my detailer brush, and my cleanup brush, and of course my trusty orange wood stick. So that's everything that I used in this video. I do apologise, I was having a bit of a technology fail today, and I was falsely blaming my phone, but I've changed the setup of how I do my videos, and so I can't actually see my phone as clearly, and I realised I was actually pressing stop instead of restart. So when I blame my poor phone and the camera app closing, it was actually user fail, not phone technology fail. Anyway, so I do apologise, there are some things that are left out of the video, but I do explain afterwards. Once I realise, I tell you what I did. So as always, I hope you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching, and let's get into it. Okay, so far we've done my right hand, or most of my right hand. That's not an oversight, that nail hasn't been done yet. That is going to be nail sugar. And to do nail sugar, there's loose glitter involved, and for those of you that have used glitter, you know that it gets everywhere. So I always do that last. Wherever there's glitter involved, I always do that last. So we've got a bit of a wavy pattern on this one, we've got some marbling on this one, we've got a glitter cuff on this one, and a bit of half and half with a glitter divide on this one. So we're going to do very similar on my non-dominant hand. So let's get into it. So I'm going to start with this Cashmere Grey from Madam Glam. So that's going to be my base colour for my ring finger and my middle finger. Okay, we're going to get as close to that cuticle as we can whilst leaving a margin. And then we're just going to cap that free edge at the tip and down the sides. Okay, as always, I've got my little trusty cleanup brush here and my little pot of isopropyl alcohol or IPA. So I'm just going to dip into that to tidy that up a little bit. Okay, and we're going to do the same on the middle finger. Okay, if you've got too much polish on your brush, always just dip it back in and remove that excess, because otherwise you're going to find you've got gel polish running into your cuticles. Okay, and on the index finger we are going to use our Shimmer Sexy Berry. Let's make sure I'm in screenshot there. Okay, now I've got a hair straight across there, and that is just definitely not going to do. So, see if we can pick it up with our trusty there we go. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but there was, I don't know, probably a little bit of dog fur or something, knowing given that the number of animals in this house, it's probably a bit of animal fur that got stuck in there. So obviously we just need to go over that finger again, and this is the beauty of gel polish. You know, it doesn't set basically until you pop it in the lamp and cure it, so it gives you plenty of time to remove things like stray unwanted hairs, bits of fluff or dust, and then you just go back over again, and it's like nothing ever happened. Okay, a little bit there. Gosh, this colour's got all sorts of bits of fluff in it at the moment. It's not very good, is it? All right, there you go. Those three are done, and we are going to go into the lamp. Okay, so while I was away, I did a second coat of the Shimmer Sexy Berry on my index finger. I also realised that I was intending to do a colour gradient on this finger, but completely forgot, and so did a layer of Cashmere Grey. So I'm going to have to change my plans for that one. We're nothing but flexible, so I'm probably just sort of going to do another variation of what I've done on this other hand so that it still matches nicely. So we're going to do some stripes on our index finger, or some wavy stripes. So I've got the colours I need on a little palette, basically. I've got them in this little dish. Sorry, that side. So I've got, this is the upper east side, this is Cashmere Grey, and that's the Sexy Berry colour. So I just got those handy so that I can just dip my little brush in to do my waves. And on this finger you can see I've got the grey in the centre, so I'm probably going to go with the berry colour instead. So I've got my striper brush that I'm going to use, and I'm just going to pick up some of that berry colour, and we're just going to come in the centre and do a bit of a squiggle. This can be just a bit of an outline at the moment, show where we want our line to go. Make it a bit of an S shape, this one, why not? A bit skinnier in the middle, and curve it up to the end up here. Now I'm going to make this a little bit thicker, not as in the line, but as in the colour, so I'm going to try and make it a little bit opaque. And try and see if I can get it done in one coat. Okay, so don't forget your gel polish will self-level to an extent. So I'm just going to take up my little trusty clean-up brush, clean up around the top here, and make that a little bit more streamlined. Smooth off that edge a little bit. There we go. Okay, so there's the first part of our colour curve. Alright, that's going to go in the lamp. I do apologise everyone, I just realised too late then that my camera actually wasn't recording that. I thought it was, but for some reason the app just shut itself down. So I don't know what happened there, I do apologise. But the only thing I did that didn't seem to record was I just did a layer of the Stardust, which is the glitter, just to trace either side of my berry line. So now I'm going to do the same thing with the Upper East Side colour. I'm just going to do a slightly thinner layer of this one, I think. I'm going to keep this one quite slim if I can. What I plan on doing and what I actually end up doing often are not the same thing. It's probably a little bit too thin, so have that out a little bit more. So that's really just almost like a bit of a shadowed outline, which is kind of what I wanted for this one. And I'll just do the other side, same on the other side. A little bit more just on the inner corner of this S here. Well, sort of S, it's a rather odd looking S, but you know what I mean. My wave that I've got going on up here. Okay. Right. Okay, so we're just going to cure that. That's going to go in for about 30 seconds, and then I'm just going to do an extra layer of the Cashmere Grey around it, because we only did one layer of that as a base coat. So I want to give that a little bit more opacity. So we're going to do exactly the same thing, but we're going to go around with the Cashmere Grey and just fill in those sides a bit. Oh my goodness, I have no idea what my phone is doing today. I'm so sorry. That's the second time that my app has just shut itself, and I hadn't realised. So what I was showing you was how I just filled in this gap here with the Cashmere Grey. And the main thing that I was saying that my camera didn't capture was you could have, of course, done 2 coats of the Cashmere Grey before you started with the striping. That would have achieved the same thing. It just would have given you an extra layer of colour and a bit of extra thickness to the nail, which is why I didn't do that. So I chose to fill in the sides. But if you do that, just make sure you allow the time for the gel to self-level. Because when you use a striper brush, for a reasonably chunky section like that, you will still get the stripes from having used the brush. Obviously, when you're doing actual stripes, that's what you want. But if you're trying to fill in a section like we were there, that's not what you want. So use your striper brush by all means to fill in the section, but just let it self-level so that you get rid of those streaks. Okay. Right, so now this is the nail that we have an alternative plan to what we were originally intending, and it looks like I've got some dust on there, so I'm just going to grab some IPA, spray that and get rid of the dust. Okay, so what we're going to do is a bit like we did on this nail, which is a bit of marbling. So in order to do that, what you do is you get a clean section of a palette, if you can find one. It's might be a bit hard pressed for me on this palette. And you just do a line of each of the colour that you want to use. Okay, so there's my berry colour. And it doesn't really matter the order in which you do them. Personal preference if you have one, but it doesn't really make much difference. Just make sure you don't have any colour on your brush before you put it back in your pot, which as you can see there I do. So I'm going to wipe that off, and I'm going to make sure that I have no berry colour on here before I put that back in my jar. Okay, we're also going to grab our Cashmere Grey. I think I'm going to put that on the other side of the berry colour. As I said, not that it really matters because all the colours blend and merge anyway, so it doesn't really make a whole lot of difference, to be honest. And then we're going to come in with our Stardust, because for me, Stardust just has to be in these marble nails. I love this Stardust, in case anyone didn't know. Okay, then just sort of lightly blend your colours, and then come in with an ombre brush, or any other kind of brush will work as well, and then just gently push that, move that down the nail. Okay, and you can, you know, do any shape or shapes that you want to do. I just always do something different. I don't have a set plan when I do these. The colours just sort of go where the colours go. I'm not too fussed about it, too precious. So you want to blend them or move them around a little bit, but not to the point where the colours actually merge. You want to retain that sort of, that design, that look, and you want the colours to, you know, to remain in there as they should in their state. So I'm just going to get a bit of glitter around here. I'm going to spread that out a little bit as well. And of course, if you leave it, you know, the gel polish will self-level to an extent as well. You can, of course, use a blooming gel for this. I think you saw me use one of those before. I chose not to today, but of course you can. That works well as well. It just, the colours tend to soften when you use the blooming gel, because that's the point of the blooming gel, is it sort of spreads the colour out, so it's not as intense. If you do this without a blooming gel, you get a more intense look from your colours. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that in the lamp just to freeze cure that. And that means basically putting it in the lamp for about 10 seconds or so. It's just to hold the colours where they are, because I'm basically finished with that nail until I top coat. So I just want to hold those colours in place. I'm not going to do anything else to that nail. If I was going to do anything else to that nail, I would have cured that solidly for 60 seconds. Okay, but I'm not working on that nail anymore, so I just wanted to freeze it all in place. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a glitter cuff on our berry nail here. Okay, now how deep you have that cuff, of course, is entirely up to you. How far it comes down is equally entirely up to you. So I actually got a bit too much gel polish there, but that's the beautiful thing about this particular glitter polish. It doesn't really matter. It's quite thick, this gel polish, which is fantastic for things like this because you can just move it around. It's got relatively large chunks of glitter, but not huge glitter, but just enough to make it a little bit thicker, and so it basically stays where you put it, which is just fabulous when you're trying to do stuff like this. Okay, so you can make it as deep or as shallow as you want. I'm just going to come along with my clean-up brush and just to make that a slightly nicer line. Push that back a little bit. I don't want that jutting out quite so far. To get that off the nail because I don't want that to cure. Got a hair across there which we'll get rid of at the same time. God, what is, I'm also having like, you know, hair flying everywhere and technology fail day today, so I don't know what that's all about, but anyway, never mind. Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to look at my other nail. That one's a bit thinner, so I'm just going to continue to push that back a little bit. Not that it needs to match perfectly, obviously it doesn't for one thing, it's a different colour, but I'll just try and get it roughly pretty similar. Okay, now I'm going to come in with my orange wood stick and just move these around. Because these glitters are a little bit larger, you can come in with an orange wood stick and just shift them where you want them to be. Okay, and I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so that's going to go in the lamp. That glitter polish is a 30-second cure, but because of my my marble nail, where obviously there's a slightly thicker layer of gel polish, I'm going to cure that for 60 seconds and then I'll be back. The camera did it again. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I don't know what is going on with my phone today. So we're just using Luminary's Empower Top Coat over these 3 nails because these are all finished now. And then we're going to move on to our thumb and then we're going to do our nail sugar. So this is a lovely top coat. It lasts for weeks and it doesn't lose its shine. It really is very, very good, but it can be slightly runny. So I do flash cure it in between fingers, and I always go around the sides with my cuticle stick before popping my finger in the lamp. So I'm just going to cure all of these 3 nails with top coat and then I'll be back. Okay, so that is those 3 nails done. This one is also going to be nail sugar, so glitter, so that's going to be left till the last as well. So we're onto the thumb now, and basically we're going to do the complementary colours to this one. I don't know where my words are today. I can't seem to talk, have a sentence. As I said. Okay, so we're going to do, instead of where the grey is, we're going to do the berry and vice versa. So we're going to start with the berry at the top. Okay, so the way that I do this is I just start at the cuticle area and start painting as you normally would, but just stop when you're sort of halfway up or thereabouts. And obviously it's up to you whether you want to, you know, break this on an angle like I have. Of course, you could just do a straight half and half. You could split it vertically. You could do, yeah, whatever you like, basically. You could do multiple stripes, what have you. But I just then tend to do a stripe across the centre there. And then I'll check it against my other nail. And yeah, that's probably about the same spot. So I'm just going to even out that polish where I just cut across that corner. As you can see, it's left it a bit streaky. So I'm just going to fix that up and get a little bit closer to the cuticle area while I'm at it. Okay. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that, but you know, if you weren't quite happy with the line that you've got, you can obviously just come in and tidy up with your cleanup brush and a bit of IPA. So that's going to go in the lamp for 30 seconds. Okay, so we're back. We're going to do a second coat of that. And the second coat, as always, of course, is easier because you're just going to follow where your first coat was. So that makes it a bit easier. And if you go a little bit over the line, don't worry about it. Just clean it up with your brush before you pop you into the lamp. Try and tidy up that edge a little bit. There we go. Okay. I'm just going to take my cleanup brush and just tidy up that line. Probably not really necessary for such a small amount. You know, it was just sort of a bit of feathered colour, but you know, while I'm here, seeing as it hasn't cured, I may as well get rid of it before I pop it in the lamp. And another 30-second cure on that. Now we're going to come in with our second colour, which is the upper east side, which is that charcoal grey, and we're just going to paint up to that line. Okay, again, I just want to try and get my sides all nicely, neatly done and all coloured. Now, where the colours meet doesn't have to be too precise because you're going to put a layer of glitter through that. So it doesn't need to be too precise. Obviously, you don't want to be miles out and you don't want to be crossing your colours over where it'll be visible. But as you can see, that line is by no means perfect, but for what I'm trying to achieve here today, it is absolutely fine. So that's going in for a cure. Okay, so we're back for our second coat and we're going to do exactly the same thing and just do our second coat, so we've got a nice bit of opacity there. Okay, so there I've gone over a little bit more than I would like to have done, so I'm just going to grab my IPA. I'm really not being very coordinated today, am I? Can't string a sentence together and I'm just getting my colours all over the shop. So that's now going to go in for a 60-second cure. Yes, Madame Glam polishes do have a 30-second cure, but I always find when it comes to certain colours, I always double the cure time, and those colours are black, white, reds and greys, especially the darker ones. Not so much with the pale colours, but yeah, certainly with the darker greys and obviously black, and the deeper reds, the more opaque colours, then I put those in for 60 seconds as well. Alrighty, and now we are going to do our little layer of glitter. So again, I've got my little glitter on my palette here, and I'm just going to go down that centre, that divide between the two colours, and just put a little bit of a divide. I don't want it too thick, but obviously you can go as thick as you want to. I just wanted in there to give it a little bit of shimmer, a little bit of focus, and yeah, like I said, I love this glitter, so any excuse to use it basically. Okay, so just looking at it in comparison to my other thumb, pretty happy with that. So that's going to go in the lamp, and that is a 30-second cure. Okay, and now we need to top coat this thumb. Okay, and then of course this is the last thing that we need to do before we're going to move into our glitters. So you want to make sure that you get all around the glitter line as well, because there might be a little bit of a gap there, so you just want to make sure that you get your top coat all the way up there. Don't want any gaps in your top coat. Okay, just let that level for a second. There's a hair on that, that's really annoying, but it didn't stick to my polish, so that's good. Oh, I don't know if you can see that on camera, but there's a little skip in the top coat right there. So it's always worth checking every angle of your fingers before you put them in the lamp, because you saw I'd already covered over that a few times. But these little things sneak in sometimes when you don't realise, so it's always worth that good final check. There's a little hair across there as well. Oh my god, what is going on today? I seem to have like excess hairs and bits of fluff and all sorts flying around in here. Probably should banish my animals from this room, but that's never going to happen, so I guess I just need to live with it. Alright, let's try that again. Okay, that's looking fine. Just do my quick rip round with my cuticle stick and then 60 seconds in the lamp. And then we'll move on to our nail sugar. Okay, so we are now done with 4 nails on this hand, and all we are left with is our little fingers that need some nail sugar. So the way I do nail sugar is I always, first of all, I find glitters that complement the colours that I'm using. So in this instance, obviously I've got my berry colour and my grey, and we're going to be using these 2 colours here. Okay, these are both ones that I just bought off eBay a million years ago, but they look pretty similar to me, so I'm hoping that they'll look good. You never really know until you actually do it, but hey ho, it's worth a try. But what I always do with nail sugar is I always put a layer of similar colour underneath it, and that's a couple of reasons. Firstly, it gives the colour a bit more depth, a bit more opacity, and secondly, if any of that nail sugar wears off over the time that you've got your mani, you've got basically the same colour underneath, and so it's really not very visible. So actually on this nail I'm going to do the upper east side, because I've got my berry colour on this finger, so we're going to do the grey on this finger. So we're just going to paint it as you normally would. Okay, and I do cap the free edge because you don't cap the free edge with the glitter, so it's nice to have a little bit of colour there. Making sure I'm not out of camera shot here. It's a bit hard doing the other side of your little finger with the camera. Not quite close enough to see it. There we go. Okay, so layer of colour as you ordinarily would. Okay. Go over my edges a little bit, just tidy up my cuticle area, make it a little bit more smooth. Okay, and in with the lamp. Okay, so now we have our colour cured, and we need our top coat. Okay, at this point you want your glitter quite close by. So I'm just going to move my glitter over here. Got my little triangle dish to catch the excess glitter, and this is the colour that we're going to be using. It's sort of a silvery grey silver, so we're going to give this a try and see how it goes. So I've got that ready to go, but first of all I use my top coat and I apply a layer of top coat as you normally would, maybe a little bit thicker than normal. But obviously you don't want to apply so much that you flood everything. But yeah, you do need a decent layer of top coat for this. So if you've got a slightly thicker top coat, I suggest you use that. or just, yeah, float it on if you've only got a really thin top coat. And of course you want to cap your free edge, because we capped our free edge with some colour, so you want to cap your free edge. Okay, and then what you do is move everything out of the way that you don't want glitter to get into. So I've moved aside everything except what I'm currently working with. And then, let me move this over a little bit. Okay, and then you take your glitter and you just basically sprinkle it over that nail. Put something underneath it, like I've got, you can see this little white tray under here, and then that will capture the excess glitter, and then you can just put it back in your pot. It's perfectly hygienic, because as you can see, I'm not actually touching any part of my nail or skin to the glitter itself. So it's a perfectly hygienic way to do that. And I cover it as well as I possibly can. So you basically just can't see anything left, and then tap off your excess. Okay, this bit's really important. Take a cuticle wood or cuticle stick and go round the edge. You want to make sure that none of your top coat has pooled into your cuticles, because obviously wherever your top coat cures is where your glitter is going to be. So you still want to make sure that you've achieved a nice edge to your with your top coat. Now I'm going to put that in the lamp for 60 seconds. So this top coat is a 60-second cure anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cure it initially for 60 seconds. We are going to remove the excess glitter from the nail, and we are going to cure it again for a further 60 seconds. And that's just to make sure that you've got a good cure, because obviously there's a pretty thick layer of glitter that this lamp needs to get through. So we're going to do a double cure. Okay, so that's my first 60-second cure. Now I'm just going to pick up a nail brush, and I'm just going to get rid of that excess. As you can see, a little bit's coming off. But as you can see, it worked perfectly. I've still got a lovely, nice amount of glitter on there. And then I'm going to pop that back in the lamp for a further 60 seconds, just to make sure I've got a good cure. Okay, now that's come out of the lamp. Sometimes you get like a sharp edge along the bottom. I actually haven't today, which is quite surprising. Normally I do. Anyway, well, all you need to do is just grab a file and just do just a quick buff, if you like, just to get rid of any sharp edges if you have any. But like I said, I actually don't have any today, so that's fine. And then I'm just going to do exactly the same with the other hand. I don't normally do my other hand on camera, but why not? We're here, we may as well. So shuffle everything across. One of the biggest tips I can give you when you're doing your painting anything with your non-dominant hand is make sure you've got everything in a good spot. You know, if you're having to do your opposite hand and everything that you need's on the wrong side of you, it's just, yeah, you're just causing yourself grief that you don't need. So just move everything around. I always have to have something on my things on a paper towel, so they're easy to just slide to the left or the right. Okay, this is the colour that we're going to use to try and match up with that berry colour. So I need a clean white tray, either that or clean the other one, but you know, because you're tipping glitter back in, you don't want to be tipping the wrong colour into the wrong pot. Okay, so I'm going to have my little glitter pot ready to go. Just going to put some IPA on my nail just to give it a bit of a clean before I give it a polish. I'm going to move my brush over in case I need it. I leave my clean-up brush miles away from glitter because I really don't want to get glitter in that. So I've got it within reach, but it's just off to the side of it. And I just need to find my berry colour. So here we go. Here's our gel polish colour. Oh, sorry, out of camera. Okay, so we're going to do exactly the same thing, but on our other hand. And if you ever, you know, if you want me to do a video on some hints and tips for painting your non-dominant hand, let me know. I'm happy to do one of those for you. Because yes, it does take practice, and there are a few hints and tips that definitely do help. Like most things, ultimately it comes down to practice. But there are a few things that you can do that will definitely help make it easier for you. Okay. Okay. Now, as with the other hand, we're only going to do one coat of this, you know, because it's going to be covered under glitter. So we just want it to give us a bit of a base for our glitter, that's all. Okay. Oh, sorry, I was out of shot there. Okay. Right. Okay, and we're going to go in with the lamp and cure that for 30 seconds. Okay, so now it's time for our top coat. Same applies, obviously either use a slightly thicker top coat if you've got one, or just float on a thinner top coat so that it gives you a slightly thicker layer. So you want to make sure you get your top coat everywhere basically, because wherever your top coat isn't, you won't have any glitter stick. Okay, so this is what your glitter is sticking to. So you need to make sure that you've got glitter, top coat all over the nail, but equally you need to make sure that your top coat doesn't run into the cuticle area for exactly the same reason. So wherever your top coat is where you're going to have glitter. Okay, so you can clean around your cuticles now if you want to. I don't really see a lot of point, to be honest, because you're about to pour glitter and it can continue to run anyway. So I just come straight in with my glitter. As you can see, that was a little bit of a burst, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so just cover the entire nail as well as you can, because then hopefully you just won't miss any bits basically. Okay, that's looking pretty well covered, I think. So again, just turn your finger, tap off that excess, come in with your orange wood stick and go around your cuticle area just to make sure that you haven't got any top coat that's run into your cuticle area. Okay, doesn't matter that there's glitter all over the shop, makes absolutely no difference, because if your top coat, like all around here, because I haven't got top coat there, so it's not going to stick. Okay, so as soon as I get my brush to that, all of that is going to go. So it's really just that area around your cuticle where, you know, your top coat can pull because you've taken some time to do the glitter and you've tipped your nail upside down and all of those things. Depending on your top coat, it might actually run into your cuticle area a bit. So that's why I just go around with an orange wood stick. But don't worry about the excess glitter that's around the sides of your nail, because as soon as you get the brush out, they will be gone. Okay, so I'm just going to tip my excess glitter from before back into my little glitter pot. Ready for another day. Another day of glitter, and then just try and get rid of that without, you know, sneezing or coughing or something that's going to send your glitter absolutely flying. Okay, and then same thing, so come in with your brush, get rid of any excess, and this is where any on the sides of your nail, as you can see, it just disappears because there's no top coat to hold it in place. And then I'm going to put that back in for a further 60 seconds now that I've got rid of that excess glitter. Okay, and the same as with that last nail. So if you've got a little bit of scratchiness on the edge of your nail, then just come in with the file and get rid of that. But there you go. So that's today's mani. We've done a few different things. We've done some striping, we've done some nail sugar, we've done some marbling, and we've done a bit of a glitter cuff and multicoloured. So there you go. Bit of everything. I think the only thing that's missing is crystals, so clearly I'm going to have to do that for my next mani. Anyway, I hope you're all well. I hope everyone's keeping safe in lockdown, and whatever country you're in, I hope you're staying safe. I hope your loved ones are staying safe. Take care. See you soon. Bye.